I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to get that right.
Sup?
How are you doing? You sound tired.
I'm very tired.
How tired are you?
I just flew in and man, are my arms tired.
Oh, man.
No, I'm just worn out. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a little worn out too. I made a mistake. I made a tragic faux pas, as if you will. I tried to play badminton at 47 years old on a wet lawn. So I felt like I couldn't move.
Against a 19-year-old.
Yeah, a 19-year-old with only one move. Power swing. I felt like I couldn't move too quickly on the wet lawn because I didn't want to do that thing where you do the accidental splits or you slip, boom, onto your butt. Now your butt's wet. So I was kind of like moving slower, but that meant that I was having to stretch my upper body farther because I couldn't get there with my feet without feeling comfortable. So I was bink and bink, and when I say my whole upper back is destroyed, it hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. My neck, my whole upper back just is completely shredded. But it's that workout kind of pain, not like the I pulled a muscle kind of pain, right? It's just that.
That's good.
I overextended those muscle groups in a way they were not used to. And so I haven't been able to sleep very good because, I wake up and I'm like, oh, my back is so sore. I'm not like being able to stay asleep through the achiness.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit tired, but I'm also like kind of jazzed today. I woke up exhausted, but I was like jazzed.
So weird.
Yeah, I don't know why. And my mood has kind of stayed up most of the day. I had one portion of the day where I was like, why me? And then you looked me right in the eyes and put me back on the right track. Anyways, how are you?
I was woken up at 6:40 this morning.
Yeah.
With a much needed potty run, and I'm like, okay, and then I'm trying to get her to settle back and go back to sleep, and then she's like, it's pretty much morning right now. See, the sun's coming up. I'm like, but it's not up all the way. Sleepy.
Do you remember a time in your life where your sleep cycle was completely determined by the sun?
No.
I don't either, but I must have been like that as a child well.
I'm not a great sleeper. I have a hard time falling asleep, and then I have a hard time staying asleep.
Yeah.
But sometimes, in the early wee mornings, I can find a good enough, cozy spot and drift off to sleep.
Yeah.
But man alive, if these little ones just won't let me do it.
I will say, just from observation of you being a mother for 400 years, that I'm surprised at how easily you fall asleep at odd times. Times that don't make any sense.
It's because it's not determined on anything. I just...
And I go, are you sleeping? And you go, I'm resting my eyes. I'm fully awake and fine. I'm like, I'm not judging you. I just don't want to bother you if you're sleeping. Well, you kind of are.
I'm almost like a cat.
Yeah,
where
a little bit.
I'm not asleep, but my eyes are closed. I could go at any minute. I could full go at any minute.
I've come across you kind of I wouldn't call it snoring because you don't snore, but it is kind of like purring. You're kind of purring and you're definitely asleep. But then you somehow sense me and you just open your eyes really slowly with this kind of half-lidded, what the fuck do you want? And I'm always like, oh, were you sleeping? Because I'm a golden retriever.
Yes, exactly. It's time to go now?
Yeah, but it's always funny to me because you'll oh man, I couldn't sleep at all last night, and then I'll cruise by for lunchtime, and you'll be like, I'm like, that's weird. I wonder why that happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a good sleeper anyways, but then you add like 4 kids on top of that.
Yeah.
It's all screwed up.
I feel like I can fall asleep pretty easily. I don't think anybody would argue with that.
No. You stop moving for a couple minutes and we have to check on you.
Yeah, I do fall asleep pretty easily. But if I am awakened in the middle of the night for some reason, whether it be like, a bad dream or like back pain, it is harder for me to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is, or at least it feels harder because I don't want to be awake.
Yeah.
But I usually sleep pretty good. I have been having like this backache for a couple of nights though, and it's been waking me up. And there was a point where I was trying to like, I think drink too much water in a day, but I was continuing to drink water like way past my bedtime. Mm-hmm. And then I would not get up and go to the bathroom before falling asleep. Mm-hmm. And then inevitably 2:00 in the morning, I'd wake up and be like, oh my gosh, no, I got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then you go in there and you're groggy. You got one hand up against the wall because you're trying not to fall down. And you're peeing forever because your body had shut down and was trying to hold it, but then it woke you up a little bit. And now your body's on and it's like, well, we got a lot to get out of here.
It's just, okay, I don't.
And then you pee for like a half an hour. And at one point you start to feel like the darkness come into the peripheral of your vision. You're like, am I going to pass out from peeing?
I think that's the one thing that you and I don't share with each other is like our peeing habits. And I've never seen a dude pee ever. Yeah. Even you, I've seen, trying to potty train little boys or whatever. Right. And that's just wild. But like, it still like amazes me that you guys can stand up and go pee. That would be exhausting. I would still sit down even if I was a dude. I'd be like, forget it, and I would just sit down.
Well, I would do that at night, but I literally don't trust my knees when I'm half asleep, and I feel like I'm gonna just slam down on the toilet really hard because my legs will give out. So I just stand and lean against the wall when I'm half asleep. But most of the time that I go to the bathroom, during the day or whatever, you
don't have to lean, right? But
no, I usually will just like sometimes I have to lean back.
It's just wild to me is all, because even at my most tired, like the most tired I've ever been is like being sleep deprived after having like a baby or something, and just sitting down has like saved me so many times when I could sit down on my own, kind of a thing.
Well, average human beings, their butts are pretty close to the toilet seat to begin with.
Yeah, but you're already 6'7". You're already way up there.
Yeah, my butt is way up there. Sitting down on the toilet for me is a deep squat. So I just don't trust it at night.
Yeah.
I just don't trust it when I'm half asleep. Sometimes I'll get up to go to the bathroom and my knee will go backwards. It'll be like, are we doing this? Why are we moving? I'll be like, oh, come on, knee.
Not everyone got the memo to get up.
Yeah, the whole body's not ready to go yet. So I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things from TikTok land.
Okay.
That I know that one of them I know you have also
missed because
been enjoying though prior to the couple of days you missed.
Oh, okay.
But the other thing's new to you because I just brought it up today. Mm-hmm. But I'll go with the first one, Elyse Myers.
Oh yeah, I love the way she tells stories.
Right? I think most people would recognize her as the person who went on the 100 taco date.
Yeah, the worst date of all time.
Yeah, the 100 tacos where he bowed about her 100 tacos, and then his dad was like, "Do you want to see my studio?" And she took the 94 tacos that were left and left.
Well, it starts out with they were just going to meet up and they were going to go somewhere for dinner.
Yeah.
So she gets there and he goes, I don't have keys to my truck.
Yeah.
I locked my keys in my truck or something. And she was like, okay, well, I will drive.
Right.
And then he's giving her directions of where they're going. And she's like, I don't know where we're going. This is very scary. But he gives her like directions to a Taco Bell. And she's all, okay. And then he leans over her and he goes, I would like 100 tacos. through the drive-through, and she's like, okay. And then he goes, oh no, I forgot my wallet. And she goes, I now am paying for 100 tacos. So they pay for 100 tacos, and then they take them back to his place, and he just yells in the middle of the house, like, it's time to eat, or it's time to
He says,
feast.
let's feast.
Oh, let's feast. And then his dad comes out of nowhere, and then him and his family just start eating. And she's like, his dad goes, would you like to see my studio? And she goes, then I took 94 tacos and I went home. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But she says it with such a straight face.
She is very good.
Oh, it makes my cheeks hurt.
Yeah, mine too. She is extremely good at the deadpan delivery.
Yeah.
And then she adds little animations and images and stuff on the screen to match up with the cadence of her story, like little check marks when she says yes, or a little X when she says no, or like 100 taco emojis. It's just so entertaining. And then on top of that, she also does these singing videos where either she's making up a song or she's just like covering a song.
Oh.
And she's a really good singer. And then also, as a beautiful husband and a little baby, and they're the loveliest people.
Cute.
Get out of here. But very funny. She comes up constantly in my feed now, probably because every time she does, I watch the whole video. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is a pug named Noodle. And this is #Noodle Talk.
Noodle Talk.
And his owner goes, okay, we're going to see if Noodles has bones today or doesn't have bones today. And he like rubs on Noodles and then like tries to pick him up. And then if he collapses, he has no bones. And it's a no bones day. Just take it easy on yourself. It's
so he's
okay.
using his old pug as a prediction of
like a Groundhog Day for the day.
What kind of day it's gonna be.
Yeah, and if the dog
Cute.
stays upright, he's got bones. It's a good day. Invest. Ask for that raise. Treat yourself. It is so adorable. And now people are writing songs about no bones or bones.
And #No Bones Day.
Yeah, and I feel like
funny.
I had 100% a bones day today.
Oh, that's good.
And then I checked the app later, and yes, Noodles did say it was a bones day today. So it's working out, I think.
That's cute.
It's just wonderful. I keep coming back to the idea that, I got onto TikTok at the beginning of the pandemic just like as something to like joy scroll, and as opposed to doom scrolling everything else.
Yeah.
Right? Because there was like a lot of dancing and little comedy bits, and it was just great, right? Mm-hmm. But the longer the thing goes on, the more and more like really talented and fun people start to get onto that app.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of like it's a really good slice of culture. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some people can abuse it, of course, and some people can be
there's
like
shitbags on there just like anywhere else.
Perfect way to put it, babe.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of shitbags on there. But the cool thing about that algorithm is if you don't engage with those shitbags, like they stop showing up.
Yeah.
And you go, sweet, no more shitbags. Please more Elise, please more Noodle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I would rather see that 9 times out of 10 than interact with something that's, a downer.
I would rather watch Elise feed her baby and talk about tacos than any like conservative talking point about how Joe Biden this or doodle-doo. Like, who? Just shut up.
Right.
Just at this point, fucking shut up. I tried my hand at the TikToks. I'm doing impressions of celebrities pooping. I got 500-600 views. It's more than I got on any other social media platform in terms of like engagement. Mm-hmm. But just I'm not taking off in the way that like Elise is taking off. So what my thing is her stories are either really great or she's very charming, or I'm neither of those things. I think it's all 4 of those things. Anyways, I like TikTok. I like going on there. I spend too much time on there sometimes, but it's always like
your extra 15 minutes a day on TikTok is fine. Okay.
Yeah, it's usually at night before bed, or it's like in the morning on the toilet, or what. Probably shouldn't tell people that. But it's not like I'm not in the middle of the workday. Like,
no way.
I don't even pick my fucking phone up in the middle of the workday.
No
Who
way.
has time for that shit?
Not you.
I'm constantly. Oh, I own a phone. Well, don't have time for that right now.
Right. I can't get you to take time, so.
Well, I'm trying to be better at that. My new boss, it's not a new job, but I got a new boss at my current job. She said, I want you to make it a goal to pick a day every month and just take it completely off. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, yes, I will do that. And she also had me block my calendar, like put on my calendar for my morning walks.
Yeah.
And so now my work calendar says, get out of here. Go on your walk. And so I've been better about hitting that at the right time now.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll be like, 3 or 4 minutes after, because I do most of my work on my Mac and the work calendar's on this PC that sits off to the side. I'm not focused on it.
Yeah.
So sometimes I miss the alarm right at
But still, I'm glad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very good, because it's a good sign that she cares about the well-being of her employees.
Yeah.
Is that she's saying, look, this stuff will wait.
Mm-hmm. And it can.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
this stuff can all wait.
Yep.
Be good to yourself first before you put yourself into this.
Absolutely.
Which I really, 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 really appreciate.
Ooh.
Like a lot of reallys. Like a lot of reallys. All right. Let's talk about how I love train games.
Oh, no.
But nobody else in the family will play the train games with me.
Because most of the train games come with a stock situation or a shareholders situation.
But it's simply
or you've got to own
it's not like
it's like Monopoly, where you've got to own all 4 of the railways. Otherwise, what's the point of getting, you know what I mean? It's not just the train games. It's what comes with it is the problem of train games. Like, you've got to buy a certain amount of stock into the railway in order for any of it to kind of pay off.
I guess, except for that.
Soup's annoying.
Right, but I like the really abstracted train games where it's just cubes, and like
here's where
you can place a red cube if you own a red stock, and it's like really super simple, right?
Yeah.
It's simple and abstracted, but still it's like, oh, that sounds like a job, Dad.
Exactly. And
I get it.
And I was telling you the other day, it's like, the times where you can play, right? It's maybe on a lunch time or after work or whatever. But then for those times for us, we've been working all day.
Yeah.
And so then it's like time to think, but your brain works differently than, let's say, mine. Because you're just like, oh, I love this thinky thing that I can dive into and take apart, and the system of it all. And my brain's like, not today, man.
I do
You've
tend to
got
go.
your to-do list done. Be done for today.
I do tend to
Please.
go. You know what I like to do to relax? More thinking.
It's awful.
I guess it is shitty.
It is completely awful.
But it really does give me, like, I don't know, maybe it's just because it gives me, like,
I know. It gives you something else to think about in the same capacity as work, but it's not work because this is fun. I get why, but your opponents or your gaming group isn't like that. Yeah. So you have to kind of rethink it.
Okay. Give it some thoughts.
Yeah.
I will give it some thoughts.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about anything else before we get into the topic, which I'm pretty stoked about?
Okay. No, I'm good.
Okay.
My brain hurts
All
right
right
now.
Okay. So we're going to get into the topic right after this.
Okay, good.
Right of this dead air. Messages from our dead air sponsors. All right. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there I was, minding my own business.
What does that mean?
When there was a delivery at the front door, and there was
you're going into this backstory of this backstory.
There was two packages. One was clearly mine.
Right.
And the other one was shaped like something that could be mine. So I opened both packages, and then I realized that this was for you, and you'd been waiting for it for a couple of days now.
Yeah, but I don't even mind if you open my packages unless I've said, "Hey, don't open any packages because I got a gift for you or coming or something."
Yeah.
But I usually always tell you, like, don't look at the packages because sometimes they put stuff on the outside of the packages.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I don't give two shits about it. So Wolverine is one of my favorite comic characters of all time. Not X-Men, just Wolverine, because I just think he's interesting.
Yes, I agree.
And I've known about Old Man Logan for a long time, but I've never read it. I didn't realize that you could get it as a separate thing. I didn't realize that it was like a one-off story that had been told, and then they made a comic book about Old Man Logan. I had no idea. I thought it was just like an interwoven story into the Wolverine comic books, which I don't collect. There's just too much, right? So usually what I'll do when I collect a comic book is I'll pick a specific book that I really like and just collect that one book. But even if it has offshoot books, which happens a lot in the superhero genre, I won't buy all those extra offshoots, right? Like if you want everything Batman ever, you have to buy literally every comic book that DC puts out because he's always showing up in the other fucking...
Yeah.
Which just pisses me off, but whatever. So like Invincible, doubled down on that. Walking Dead, doubled down on that. Saga. And then I discovered that Old Man Logan has its own set of books. And so there are 11 books.
Yes.
11 paperbacks. And there's a couple hundred pages, I think.
So what I opened today was number 1, right?
It was the original one-off. Written by Mark Millar, who's the writer of Kick-Ass.
Oh.
Though he wrote this first. But most people would recognize him from Kick-Ass, other than other comic nerds, because they would recognize him from his other work.
Yeah.
But Old Man Logan, he wrote this. This story, I just read the whole fucking book today. I have the other 10 books that are based off of the comic book offshoot that was based off of this, or a continuation of this, I should say. At least I think. I haven't started the first one yet. This book, though, that I read is so amazing. And I know that you are not a big comic book reader, but I know that you would like totally dig this story.
I do. As far as X-Men is concerned, Wolverine and Logan, and you add Hugh Jackman. I mean,
No,
I get it. I get it, but
I'm just kidding. Hugh Jackman's fine.
If I don't know anything about any of these characters and you show me the movie, that's who I'm going to gravitate towards, right?
I will say that the Hugh Jackman's portrayal in the movie Logan was an excellent book.
Yeah.
Or excellent movie.
Agreed.
But Logan, the movie Logan, has nothing to do with Old Man Logan.
Okay.
Old Man Logan is a completely different tale.
Okay. But still.
Right.
This is where I'm coming from as a zero comic book knowledge whatsoever.
Yeah. So the deal with Logan, Wolverine, is that he is not immortal, but because of his healing factors, he literally lives for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Okay. So the book opens up. It's 50 years after the fall of the heroes, that's all they say right then. They don't tell you what that means or anything. And all we know is that Logan is living in Sacramento on a dusty-ass old farm with his wife and 2 kids, a daughter and a son. And he's vowed to never hurt another human being and never pop his claws again. He's a pacifist now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. He's behind on rent for the farm, and he owes that rent to the grandchildren of Bruce Banner, the Hulk, and his first cousin, She-Hulk.
Okay.
Okay. They're evil now. They're bad guys.
Uh-oh.
And so the Hulk family is kind of like a gritty mob.
Ooh.
And they come around, and if you don't have their money,
It's like the huts.
They beat you up. Right? So they show up to the farm, and Logan goes out, and the one Hulk guy's punching him in the chest, and he's like, "What are you going to do about it, old man?" And then there's like a little like dream sequence where Logan pops his claws and then literally tears that Hulk guy apart.
Yeah.
Like cuts him in half. And then you see his wife and daughter go, "No, Logan." And then it was a dream sequence.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What are you going to do about it?" And Logan's like, "Do your worst." And so they beat the fuck out of Logan. Like they just are pounding his head into the thing. But, you know, healing power. So it's not.
Yeah, but still, it hurts in the moment.
It hurts. Yeah, it hurts, and it's beating him up. But he's gonna be fine. And then they leave, and then he's like healing up in bed, and Hawkeye shows up, and Hawkeye is now blind. Got a long ass gray ponytail and a gray beard because he's super old now. Because it's 50 years after the fall of the heroes. So 50 years from the time of the Avengers.
Okay.
Right? Logan isn't even as old as Hawkeye at this point visually. Because Hawkeye's literally a regular human being.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I got a job and it'll pay you enough money to get, you just got to come with me across the country and help me deliver this package." And Logan reluctantly agrees, but he says, "I'll do it, but I'm not going to fight.
Yeah.
No fighting for me." And they got Spider-Man's old car, right? So they're driving across, the country, and Logan's basically a lookout because Hawkeye's blind and driving.
Okay.
Logan's basically taking a look, right? So they're driving across the country, and they run into different kinds of things. Like they run into these creatures that have come up. A lot of people believe they're the immune system of the earth. And then once we hit 8 billion people, they started to come out to like kind of thin the herd type of thing. But they can't see in the light, so they stay in the darkness. But they eat you. And they've eaten all of San Francisco. And so they're there trying to figure out what's going on because there should be a lot of people in San Francisco, but there's nobody there. And then the Ghost Rider gang shows up and they try to rob them. And this is where we learned that Hawkeye now is still really good with a bow and arrow, just with his ears instead of his eyes. And he kills all those Ghost Rider guys. And Logan's all, "Come on, man." And he's like, "What do you mean? You come on, man. You're supposed to help me out here." He's like, "I told you I'm not going to fight." And then they continue on, and there's a couple of other things where they run into Venom, and Venom there's dinosaurs. Right? There's dinosaurs in the Savage Lands.
Okay.
So Venom goes, "You know what would be a good thing for me? A T-Rex." And so now there's T-Rex Venom chasing them in the spider car. And then at one point they get to a place where the ground they're being chased by a bunch of bad guys, and the ground like collapses in, and the bad guys and Logan and the spider car and all of them fall into the earth. And then it's just pitch black, and Logan wakes up 2 hours later, and he's got a glow stick, and he sees these fucking monsters eating all of the people that were chasing them. And then he finds Hawkeye, and Hawkeye's like in the spider car still, and he's like, "Oh, they haven't seen me, but just use that light because they'll be blinded by it." And he's like, "How are we gonna even get out of here?" And Logan flips the spider car over, and then goes, "It's Peter Parker's old car, remember?" And he just drives it straight up the side of the wall because it can do whatever a spider can. It's so fucking out of this world. And then they stop at a garage, and it's Tanya Parker. And this is Spider-Man's daughter. And she has had a baby with Hawkeye, and their daughter, Ashley, is now grown up. Okay. And she's got spider powers. But she's now imprisoned by the Kingpin.
Oh no.
Okay. And so they go, Tanya says, "You got to go and help her. And because it's the least you can do, because Ultron 8 here has been more of a father to her than you ever were. Oh. Because you ran out on us."
Ouch.
And then Logan's all, "I'm not helping with that." And he's like, "You have to help. I'll double your pay." And he's like, "Oh, fine." Because he really needs the money, right?
Yeah.
So they go to decide to do this. And the way that they try to save her is she's in Kingpin's prison, like up on like the top level. So they do this Fast and Furious bullshit. I think Fast and Furious stole this move from this comic because they drive the spider car off a cliff and jump it through the windows. Right. And save her. she immediately just starts killing people, kills the Kingpin when he busts in, like knocks his fucking head off with a shotgun, and then hits Hawkeye. And then she's like, I didn't ask you to come save me, Dad. I was here to take over from Kingpin. She's a bad guy.
Oh no.
Yeah. So then Logan's like, fuck. And so Logan drives the car and he grabs Hawkeye by the collar and crashes out the other side of the building with Hawkeye in tow, like hanging out of the car. And he's like, just get in the car. Oh my God. And then they land and they continue to go. And then they run into like some other things and they see like things like Pym Falls, which is where Hank Pym, Ant-Man, has fallen, like died, but he was giant sized.
Oh.
So there's this humongous skeleton with half of Ant-Man's costume on, and people are like driving through a tunnel in the skull.
Ew.
Like it zooms way out. And there's all kinds of these little like landmarks all along the way, right? I'm forgetting a lot of them. Oh, like Mount Rushmore has the Red Skull's face added to it.
Oh, of course.
And I'm like, oh, that's gross. So they're going along and then they run into the Venom monster after the thing. Yeah. So I had those out of order. They save the daughter first. Then they run into the Venom monster. And then Emma Frost, who's an old X-woman, teleports them. She saves them from this Venom thing by sending Black Bolt out. And Black Bolt has the power of sound and he just says, stop. Like whispers stop, but it kills Venom because it like blows Venom off the T-Rex. They don't make it clear if they killed Venom, but it blew him off the T-Rex. Yeah. And killed the T-Rex. And like he doesn't say words normally because this is just a crazy sound power that he has. Oh. And Logan's like, how do you look like you haven't aged? Right, Emma, what's going on here? Because it's been 50 years for Emma too. Yeah. And she's like, I'm a powerful psychic. I make you see whatever I want. Turns out she made a deal with Dr. Doom and married Dr. Doom to try to save some of the mutants from being killed. Okay. It's just a small little piece. And then she helps him fix the spider car that was getting wrecked up by the Venom dinosaur and then sends them on their way. And then Dr. Doom like watches them leave. And it's just like, why? We never see Dr. Doom again.
And Dr. Doom is from
Fantastic Four. He's like the main bad guy for Fantastic Four, but he also shows up in Spider-Man sometimes. He hasn't been in any of the Marvel Universe stuff yet. Oh, okay. But he's a major character. He's a major villain in that universe. I see. In the Marvel Universe. So he will eventually show up, right? At some point. But he's definitely in here. And throughout the book, they keep giving us little glimpses of what happened to Logan and why he's a pacifist, just little glimpses of him like fighting like several supervillains at once, right? Like there's Omega 6 in there and, you know, I can't remember all the names, but they're like, he's just completely surrounded and being pummeled. Yeah. You Sabretooth, like Magneto,
so he's just tired
Silver
of fighting.
Samurai. They say that he got broken from the fight, right? Yeah. Is what they've said, right? And they show in one of the flashbacks, they kind of show him like hobbling through the woods after the fight or whatever. But they don't really say other than like he was, you know, beat up really bad by these evil villains. They don't really say why, what's going on. And so then they get to this bar and they, you know, they're just kind of having like a break, you know, it's like kind of a break, a lull in the story. And Logan kind of just starts crying. And you know, Hawkeye's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, don't do that in here. And then some guy's like, oh, I didn't know it was a little girl night. And Logan grabs him, pushes him against the wall and puts his fist underneath his throat. And is like, you just make me one, God damn it. And then he goes, and then it's a voiceover. Do you want to know what happened? And then he tells the story of what happened. He's with Jubilee and they're watching like the villains go around and like taking out superheroes.
Who's
right?
Jubilee?
Oh, I'm sorry. She is one of the X-Men. Oh, and she's also one of the X-Men that Logan is the most close with. In the X-Men movies, they make it seem like that's Rogue. And he is close with Rogue in the comic books, but Jubilee's the real person that he's the most close with, friends with. And so they're watching and then he's like, we got to get out of here. We got to get all the kids and get out of here. And then the wall explodes And all of the villains that were in the other flashbacks come through the wall, Silver Samurai and all these guys. And they're like, oh, what are you going to do now? You should have got out of here 20 seconds ago. And then the rest of the section is Wolverine killing all of these supervillains, chopping off their heads and fucking gutting them.
Whoa.
And he's like, and he's telling the story, and he's like, and then Bullseye lasted the longest. We just kept taking chunks out of each other. And then, and I was beating him. And then he said, why are you doing this, Logan? I thought we were friends. And then the illusion wears off, and it's Jubilee in his arms he was beating the shit out of, thinking it was Bullseye. Mysterio pops in and goes, it's me, Mysterio. I made you believe. Did you really think that you could take down all these supervillains by yourself? No, but your friends who would be hesitant, no problem. And then it lifts the whole veil, and everybody he's killed is all the other X-Men. Beast, fucking Gambit, all of the other X-Men are just dead and laying in shambles because
so they used him.
They mentally made him think.
They used him to take out
the whole
his
X-Men,
own
the whole X-Men team. And that's why he took a vow of pacifism and won't fight anymore, is because he's punishing himself.
Yeah.
Because he didn't do it on purpose.
That's so sad.
It was, I was like, oh my God. Because I was not expecting that at all. So then they keep on going on their trip, right? That was just a little break to give us a little backstory.
Yeah.
They keep on going on their trip, and they finally make it to New Babylon, which is where they were headed the whole time. And New Babylon's like the new city, the big city where anything goes, right? Anything goes. What happens to New Babylon stays in New Babylon. And they're meeting someone, and at this whole time, Logan thought they were running drugs, and Cliff just let him believe that. Hawkeye just let him believe that.
Yeah.
So they get there, and then right before they go in, Cliff goes, I just want you to know it's not drugs. It's not drugs. It's something else. And so they're in there, and Cliff sits down at the table with this guy, and he's like, look, we want to be on the super team that you're putting together. And the guy's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And then somebody busts in from behind and just lights up Logan, just machine guns him in the back, just bullets everywhere. And then the guy at the table shoots Hawkeye in the stomach. And then he's like, what, did you really think we were going to, the Red Skull didn't have ears everywhere? Do you really think we would let any superhero teams come back?
Whoa.
And he's like, what do you want me to do? Beg for my life? Do your worst. And then he shoots Hawkeye in the middle of the forehead, kills him. So Hawkeye's dead. Logan is dead. He's all just riddled with bullets. They put him in body bags. They take him to the Red Skull. Before that, though, we get a Red Skull flashback where he's beaten Captain America half to death, and he's monologuing, right? And then he goes over and he gouges out Captain America's eyes and kills him, and then takes his fucking suit and wears it. And he's been wearing it for 50 fucking years, because when they come back to the present, he's standing there looking at his trophy case of all the fallen Avengers gear. And he's wearing this captain suit, and he's like, my wife says that I'm crazy, but the ancients used to wear the skin of their defeated enemies. So why is this any different?
Ew.
And like his lead henchman's like, sure.
Whatever you say.
Whatever you want. And then they pull in the body bags, and they're like, hey, we finally got Hawkeye. And he's like, well, I hadn't rated Hawkeye as anything special, but I guess we could put him in the trophy case.
Oh, gross.
Or is it bow and arrow or whatever? Because he's just keeping their
he's just keeping their weapons, not them.
Not the humans.
Oh.
Not the bodies.
But still.
And then the guy goes, oh shit, there's something wrong with his accomplice. And he's like, well, yeah, I bet you filled him full of bullets. And he's like, no, the wounds are healing. The bullets are coming out. And he's like, what? And it's Wolverine busts out. Right? And he just starts punching people. Still not going to pop his claws. Still a pacifist, but he knows only way out of this is I'm going to have to fight my way out.
Yeah.
So he's punching and fist fighting and stuff. And he gets the other guys down, and then he's fighting the Red Skull. And the Red Skull's got super serum. So he's going toe to toe with Wolverine at this point. Like, he's really old too, but super serum, basically makes you partly immortal as well. And like, super strong well into your old age. Right. And so he's like going toe to toe, and he's like, well, look at you. You're half the man you used to be. You can't even pop your claws anymore. And they keep saying this, right? About popping the claws. And Wolverine somehow gets a hold of Cap's shield, which is made out of adamantium, and he just starts punching, right? Because this is the hardest metal known on Earth. Bam, 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 punch, poof, poof. And then he knocks him down, and the Red Skull's like, you don't have the guts, and he just chops his head off with the shield.
Ooh.
Red Skull's head, boom. Red Skull's guys come in and go, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? And then he's like, oh, I gotta find a way out of here. He puts on Iron Man's suit.
Oh, okay.
And then he's like wobbly flying and shooting with Iron Man beams. And then he's like, back to San Francisco, onboard computer, back to Sacramento. And he's flying, and the next few panels are like 3,000 miles from Sacramento, and it's like 2,000 miles, 1,000 miles, it's like 500 miles, and then he crashes.
Oh no!
Right, like he's like 50 miles out. He crashes, and some guys are run over and like, oh, looks like good metal, and then he's like, poof, uppercuts the guys and goes, get the hell away from me! I've come too far. And then he walks the rest of the way home. Oh, he stole some money. Mm-hmm. He just took it like there was a suitcase. There was like a suitcase of money. So then when he took the Iron Man suit, he grabbed that suitcase of money too.
Oh, okay.
So that's what he's trying to get back so to save his kids. He has 2 weeks before the Hulks are supposed to show back up.
Oh.
And collect, right? Uh-huh. He gets back, and there's the caretaker for his farm's out there with his hat in his hands. And he's like, what are you doing? Why are you here? Where's my wife and kids? And he's like, oh, Logan. And he's like, what is it? And he's like, the Hulks came back. And he's like, I had 2 weeks. And he's like, they got bored. And then he goes into the farmhouse, and his wife, his daughter, and his son, all their heads are smashed in.
Oh,
and
come
their bodies
on.
are bodies on their
No, what?
And the guy goes, oh, I think you should just let it go. Don't do anything. Don't go doing anything that's going to get us in trouble, Logan. And he goes, name's not Logan.
Oh, no.
And then the next panel is 2 pages, and it's just the snick, which is the words they always use when he pops his claws.
Oh.
So the whole book is leading up to this, and it's just 2 black and red pages, snick.
Oh,
and
no.
then the next scene is it's Wolverine, and he's got his claws out. He's just covered in blood because he hasn't popped his claws in so long. It's ripped his skin, right?
Oh, no.
Which is something that a lot of people, I don't think, really realize about Wolverine, because of the costume always hid it. Mm-hmm. But every time he retracts his claws, his hands heal back up because he's got healing factor.
Yeah.
So every single time
he's got to tear
pops
his
his
skin.
claws, he's cutting his own skin to get those claws out.
Right.
So then he goes on a little Hulk hunting mission.
Boy.
Get revenge. So first he finds a couple of the Hulks taking a bath in the river, trying to wash the blood of his family.
Oh, come on.
And he chops them up into pieces.
Ooh.
Okay. Next, he goes to a bar to find this one Hulk that's kind of a punk Hulk, and he's got like a spike thing and like got emo hair, and he's like, what's up, Wolverine? He cuts the power to that place, and then he just fucking decimates that guy, tears him apart. Then he goes to the Hulk's like family trailer park, and he has their. Okay, so the Hulks stole a vehicle from the Fantastic Four that's like a hovercraft type thing. Mm-hmm. So he puts one of the Hulks into that with a bomb strapped to his mouth, sends that Fantastic Four vehicle into the trailer park, and everybody's like, oh, what the hell? Oh, it's Bo. What's in his mouth? And it's like, boop, boop, boop. Whole trailer park blows up. Then he goes and he finds the Hulk's only daughter left that he has. And she has a newborn, or not a newborn, but like a baby.
Oh boy.
He chops her fucking head off. Then he finds Bruce Banner.
Oh no.
Who's a super old dude.
And he's allowing all this to happen?
He's evil.
Oh no.
He's a bad guy now.
No.
And he's just Bruce in a cave, and he's old, but he's still super strong and everything because he's the Hulk, right? Gamma radiation. So they start to have a fight, right? And Logan's fucking punching him and stuff, and then Logan does a double blades into the guts, right?
Oh.
Blades come out his back.
Ouch.
And then he pulls him out, and he's all, fuck you. and Bruce goes, oh, you shouldn't have done that. And he starts changing into the Hulk. He's like people aren't going to like me when I'm angry. You should have made me angry.
Oh, no.
And the next scene is he's biting Logan in half, like, because he's enormous. Hulk is gigantic and Logan's a small man, right? And he's like biting him in half. And then the next scene, one of the last remaining Hulk offspring shows up at the cave where Bruce was hiding, and Hulk now is in there like holding his stomach, and he's like, what's happened? Wolverine killed everybody. And he's like, yeah, I know, but I ate him. It'll be fine. I made him into a snack. We'll be fine.
What?
Just you, me, and some of the whores down from the ranch, and we'll be able to start all over.
Ew.
And then his kid is like, oh, and the baby's there too, right? The little Bruce Jr.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, you don't look real good. Are you okay? And he's sweating. The Hulk is sweating. And he's like, oh, I'm just having some cramps. And he goes, you said you ate Wolverine? And he's, yeah, I ate him. That's no problem. And he's like, he has healing factors. And he goes, what? And then Wolverine bursts out of the back of the Hulk.
Oh my
Goo, blood,
Ew.
green stuff goes everywhere. Hulk's dead. And then Wolverine says some like one-liner. I can't exactly remember what it is. And then he's like, give me some pants and I won't kill you right away. And the guy gives him some pants, and then he's like, just don't hurt the baby. And he's like, what? He killed my whole family. You think I'm not going to get revenge on the baby? What do you think that is all about?
Oh no.
So he kills the guy, and then he's back. He goes back and he has like a little funeral for his family. And then he decides he's going to go out and he's going to fucking fix the world. He's going to get rid of the rest of the villains. All by himself? Yeah.
Oh, come on.
And so they're like, all right, but just be careful out there. And he's like, it's all right. It's me and Bruce now. And he's got baby Bruce Banner on his back in a backpack. And he says, I kind of like the irony of him being the new member or the first member of my new team.
Oh.
So now it should pick up where it's Logan and baby Bruce Banner in a backpack traveling the United States, killing all the villains. Anyways, I'm just so fucking stoked about it. I love it so much.
Wow.
It's so good. It's such a good, like, I don't know. I think that's why I like comic books, is because you can literally do whatever the fuck you want in them.
Yeah, you can do anything.
You can do whatever you want in them. The only thing you're limited by is the ability of your artist, and your own imagination for story.
But now he can kind of right the wrong and make Baby Hulk good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad he didn't hurt the baby.
So, anyways.
That's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm really, really excited about how it's going. But yeah, he rides off with baby Hulk in the backpack.
Oh.
And up here in this top corner, you can see the baby Hulk.
Cute.
And he's on a horse. And he's just got like this hat. And he's got like a fucking duster. So he's like an old cowboy now. I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
I just don't think there's a cooler hero in the Marvel universe. I still really love Invincible and think that's a super cool story.
Yeah.
But in the Marvel universe, I don't think anybody comes close to beating the interestingness and the I guess how much you can do with the character of Logan, right? Because he's really like, you have Deadpool who's crazy, so you could just do whatever you want with Deadpool, but I don't think Deadpool is as interesting of a character as Logan, because Logan has, Deadpool is kind of a mercenary. Yeah. He's kind of a jackass. Yeah. Right? He doesn't really have any redeeming qualities, so to speak. Mm-hmm. He's a hero when he needs to be, and he's a bad guy
when he wants to be.
He's kind of like a Suicide Squad member, kind of displaced into a different universe. Yeah. But Logan is a hero. Yeah. Right? But he's tortured. Yeah. Because he's lived for so fucking long and he's lost so many people, some of them at his own hand. Yes. Yeah.
That's so sad part. Yeah. That's a sad part.
Really good though. So thank you for letting me recap the thing that I was just read today and was super stoked about, even though it was kind of rambling and back and forth.
You are right. I am interested. I like that. I mean, maybe not the...
I don't think you would like the violence the illustrations, but that's what's great about being able to, I'll read it and then just tell you about it, because then you get the gist of the tale. Yeah. Right?
And the baby in the backpack. That's cute.
Little Hulk baby. I hope that continues throughout the rest of the books. In some form or fashion. I have a feeling that it does, but I don't know for sure. So anyways, thank you very much for listening to me ramble about something that I'm excited about.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Lou and Me podcast, subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, or Spotify.
And follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Lou and Me Podcast.
Lou and Me is a Matthiasaurus production, produced and edited by Moose. The song is No Carpets by the New Forevers, hosted by Lou and me.
Thanks for listening.